welcome to my channel Everything with Wills.
To another video. So in this video today we're going to talk about the modal verb must. When we use modal verb must, this is of course a kind of confusing questions, because some people think that the modal verb must is used for only obligation, that something is obligated to do, while others believe that the modal verbs must can also be used for some logical conclusion about the future action. And some people think that modal verb must can be used for the present sentences when we think that something is very important to do, something is necessary to be done. So of course there's a confusion. So let's discuss about the modal verb must in detail in this video. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we're going to discuss modal verb must in detail. So let's get started. So the modal verb must is used for multiple purposes, and we are going to discuss four very important usages of the modal verb must. So the first thing you should clear is pronunciation. Like it is must. The pronunciation of this I'm talking about. Some people mispronounce this word and say it is modal verb. It's not modal verb, it is modal verb. So must is a modal verb, must is not a modal verb, right? So please never pronounce this modal. This is modal. All right, now let's discuss modal verb must. Well, we use must for following purposes, and these are the four purposes that we're going to learn today. And I'm sure one or two or maybe three purposes out of these you might not know before, right? So the first at most usage of the modal verb must is obligation or duty. I told you guys in my previous lecture, the word obligation means something that comes under your duty, something which is very important for you to do because it is your obligation. You must do that, right? So when we talk about the obligation or duty, you can see one example. You must wear a seat belt when you drive. Now, this is obligation. This is something very, very important. This comes under your duty or something that you cannot neglect. The second usage of the modal verb must is deduction or logical conclusion. I would say logical conclusion is the best word for this usage, which can defy or which can modify or which can define, which can better define this usage. Now, what is logical conclusion? The logical conclusion is always based on something that you see, on some reality, something that you can see through your eyes, and then you think you're still not sure. You're 99% sure that this is something happening, or this is something happens, or this is something would happen, right? For example, now let's talk about the logical conclusion. Now I said, look at all that snow. Look at all that snow. It must be cold. Now, I have not experienced it, whether it is cold or not, but I'm 99% sure because it is snow all over, so it must be cold. I can give you another example of this, the logical conclusion. For example, you see a lot of smoke coming out of a building. You see a lot of smoke coming out of a building. What does your logical conclusion tells you? What does your logical conclusion tell you? I'm sure if you see the smoke coming out of a building, your logical conclusion tells you that the building must have a fire, or the building must got the fire, or there must be some fire. That's why a lot of smoke is coming out of it. So the logical conclusion means when you see something, not 100% you're sure, but there are some evidences. And on the basis of those evidences, your logic tells you or you come over a logical conclusion that this must happen or this must be happening, right? So deduction is the word taken from maybe deduce. Deduction or logical conclusion means when you think or when your logic on the basis of some evidences give you a conclusion, that becomes a logical conclusion, right? Now, the third usage of the modal verb must is emphasize necessity. When you want to emphasize on some necessity, when you think something is very important to do and you put emphasize on it, when you are telling someone, putting emphasize on it. For example, plants must have light and water to grow. Now, this is necessary, of course. This is a necessary. This is necessary for the plants to have light and water. Otherwise, they would be dead. They would not grow. So you're putting emphasis on something which is true, which is really true, and you're putting emphasis and you're telling someone that you should do that, or you're telling someone that this is true. Plants must have light and water to grow. Now, the last but not the least, strong recommendation or suggestion. When you're giving a strong suggestion, or let me make it easy for you, if you're advising someone, but you're not using the simple word should, you want to put more emphasis on it, and you want to show that this is the suggestion or this is really recommended to do. So you can use must instead of using should. Simply, if I say you should take exercise, or if I say you should take medicines, this is simply a piece of advice for you. But if I'm your friend, or maybe I'm your relative, or maybe parents, one of the parents, so I would put emphasis on it. I would give you a strong advice or strong suggestion. Then I would say you must take medicines. You're not feeling well. So when you want to put a strong recommendation, strong suggestion, strong advice, so you have to use must instead of using should. So these were the four very, very important usages of the modal verb must. Now let's see the examples and the structures and the Urdu identifications. So the Urdu identification of modal verb must are जरूर प्लस ना है, नी है, ने है, हमने ये मैच जरूर जीतना है, तुमने ये काम 4 बजे तक जरूर कंप्लीट करना है, मुझे आज वहां जरूर जाना है, हमने अपनी बात जरूर मनवानी है, right? So for this purpose we use must, we do not use have to. See, we use have to when we are not putting a lot of stress. We simply say मुझे वहां जाना है, I have to go there. But if I say मुझे आज वहां जरूर जाना है, so I would say I must go there today. ठीक है? And number two, zarur ga ge gi. And now it can be used in place of will. For example, if I say मैं वहां जाऊंगा, I will go there. मैं वहां जरूर जाऊंगा, I must go there. Never use must and will together. I have seen so many people making this mistake. I will must go there. It is 100% wrong. You cannot use two modal verbs together in this way, because will is also a modal verb and must is also a modal verb. So we can never say I will must go there. The correct way is we must go there today. So when you want to use must in place of will, because you are putting a lot of stress, so you can use must, and it would give you the meaning of future, ga ge gi. All right. For example, if I let me give you another example. Pakistan match jeetega, Pakistan will win the match. But if I say aaj Pakistan zarur match jeetega, Pakistan must win the match today. Never say Pakistan will must win the match. This would be absolutely incorrect. And the last meaning of Urdu identification of must is zarur karna chahiye. Now this is something you're using in place of should. This is what the fourth usage which I told you, that if you want to give a strong advice, recommendation, or suggestion to someone, You can use like, we must get together for a dinner on this Sunday. This means we're giving, हमें संडे को लाजमी गेट टुगेदर, या हमें संडे को लाजमी गेट टुगेदर डिनर पर मिलना चाहिए, या गेट टुगेदर डिनर करना चाहिए. This means it is the strong recommendation or suggestion or advice. ठीक है, जरूर करना चाहिए something, so you never use should. When you use करना चाहिए, you use should. We should go there, हमें वहां जाना चाहिए. We should think about it, हमें इस मुतालिक सोचना चाहिए. But when you want to put a stress on it, हमें जरूर इस मुतालिक सोचना चाहिए. So we never say we should think about it, we say we must think about it. हमें जरूर वहां जाना चाहिए, we must go there. I hope you understand. Now let's move to the examples. All right, first of all, the structure. Subject, must, base form or the first form of the verb. Base form means the form, the original, the original form of the verb. The original form of the verb means go is the original form, but sometimes with third person singular we use goes. So goes is the first form, but goes is not the base form. Base form means the original shape or the original form of the verb, which was go. All right. So we use base form of the verb and object. All right. If you want to make the negative of this sentence using must, you have to put not after must. And in using the contraction, you can use mustn't. Must not, the short form is mustn't. You can use mustn't if you want, right? You can use mustn't as a negative if you want. But you can use must not. And if you want to use the contraction, short form, you can use mustn't. That is really up to you for the negative sentences, right? For the negative sentences. First form plus object. And same goes with the interrogative sentences. If we normally do not use must in the interrogative sentences. I mean, mostly you don't see must in the interrogative sentences, but yes, we can use it in the interrogative sentences if we want. So what happens if you want to change it into an interrogative sentence? All you have to do is to bring must in the beginning, then subject, then first form of the verb or the base form of the verb, and then object and the question mark. That's it. Must, subject, base form of the verb, and object. This is something if you want to change into interrogative, right? Now, let's move to the examples. It would give you a rather clear picture. All right. Example number one is, let me move it aside. All right. So the example number one is, we must win this match to qualify the semi-final. We must win this match to qualify the semi-final. हमें semi-final में qualify करने के लिए ये match लाजमी जीतना पड़ेगा. So this is something normally you use will. In these cases, you use will. But since you are putting a lot of stress, so that's why you're using must. यहाँ पे हम ज़्यादा जोर डाल रहे हैं, तो इसलिए हम will की बजाय must use कर रहे हैं. Otherwise यहाँ पे will use हो सकता है कि we will win this match to qualify the semi-final. हम ये मैच जीतेंगे qualify करने के लिए, लेकिन we are putting stress कि हमें लाजमी जीतना है. ये ना है, नी है, ने है के मानों में भी use हो रहा है. Instead of using have to, has to और will के मानों में भी use हो रहा है यहाँ पे कि हम आज का मैच लाजमी जीतेंगे सेमीफाइनल फाइनल क्वालिफाई करने के लिए. एंड यू कैन ऑल्सो से दैट कि हमें आज का मैच लाजमी जीतना है सेमीफाइनल क्वालिफाई करने के लिए. दिस लुक्स रादर मोर सुटेबल. दिस लुक्स मोर सुटेबल हियर. ना है, नी है, ने है में जरा ज्यादा स्ट्रेस पैदा करना हो, सो हैव टू, हैज टू की बजाय वी यूज मस्ट. नाउ सी एग्जांपल नंबर 2. Example number 2 says, we must, all right, sorry, that's the 2. He looks very angry. He looks very angry. He must beat his son today. He looks very angry. वो बहुत ही गुस्से में लग रहा है. He must beat his son today. आज जरूर अपने बेटे को वो मारेगा. This looks future indefinite. हम आमतौर पे यहाँ पे will लगाते हैं, लेकिन हम will इसलिए लगा रहे हैं कि हम ज्यादा स्ट्रेस पैदा कर रहे हैं. And this sentence is the logical conclusion. Why logical conclusion? He looks very angry. This is the evidence. This is the evidence. And on the basis of the evidence, this is your logical conclusion. Your logic gives you this conclusion. This is the evidence. ये evidence है कि he looks very angry. वो बहुत गुस्से में लग रहा है. इस evidence को देखते हुए ये आपने conclusion निकाला है कि he must beat his son today. आज जरूर अपने बेटे को मारेगा. ये आपने conclusion निकाला है. And this conclusion is based on this first sentence, which is the evidence. Now, see example number 3. You must focus on your studies. Your exams are around the corner. You must focus on your studies. तुम्हें अपने पढ़ाई पे लाजमी फोकस करना चाहिए. ये भी have to has to की जगह यूज हो रहा है. तुम्हें अपनी पढ़ाई पे जरूर फोकस करना चाहिए. Your exams are around the corner. तुम्हारे इम्तिहानात सर पर हैं. When we say इम्तिहानात सर पर हैं, we never say your exams are on your head. The idiomatic phrase around the corner is more suitable in these cases, right? All right, see example number 4. I must submit my assignment by tomorrow. I must submit my assignment by tomorrow. This is something, this shows this is obligation, or this shows something is very important to do. मुझे लाजमी अपना असाइनमेंट कल तक जमा करवाना है, और मैं कल तक लाजमी अपना असाइनमेंट जमा करवा दूंगा. It gives two sense. It can be used in two different senses, and this depends on the situation. कि ये कौन सी मीनिंग दे रहा है. ये मीनिंग दे रहा है कि आई मस्ट सबमिट माई असाइनमेंट बाय टुमारो, मुझे कल तक अपना असाइनमेंट जमा करवाना है, ये मीनिंग दे रहा है. या आई मस्ट सबमिट माई असाइनमेंट बाय टुमारो, मैं कल तक अपना असाइनमेंट जमा करवा दूंगा. इन दोनों में से कौन सी उर्दू यहाँ पे दे रहा है, ये डिपेंड करता है सिचुएशन पे. सिचुएशन विल टेल अस दैट व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज द उर्दू ऑफ दिस सेंटेंस. ठीक है, अभी इसकी उर्दू कहना कबल अज वक्त होगी. सी एग्जाम्पल नंबर 5. The example number 5 says, you must understand his problems. Now you're giving strong recommendation or strong advice to someone. This is a strong advice or strong recommendation or suggestion to someone. You must understand his problems. तुम्हें उसकी प्रॉब्लम को लाजमी समझना चाहिए. तुम्हें उसके मसले को लाजमी या जरूर समझना चाहिए. You can use should here. You should understand his problem, लेकिन फिर उसमें ज्यादा स्ट्रेस नहीं होगा. वो स्ट्रॉन्ग एडवाइस नहीं होगी, वो लाइट एडवाइस होगी कि you should understand his problem. It means you're not putting any stress, or you're not putting emphasis, you're not giving strong advice or recommendation or suggestion. So अगर आप किसी को strong suggestion से कह रहे हैं, तो आप कहेंगे कि you must understand his problems. तुम्हें उसकी परेशानी लाजमी समझनी चाहिए. I hope you understand the 4 usages of a modal verb must, and now you will be able to use these all 4 usages in your daily routine sentences. And if still there is any confusion, you can drop your message in the comment section. I will get back to you. Till then, take the very best care of yourself. I'm giving you another slide. You can make your own sentences now. That is up to you. You can make your own sentences there in the comment section. And as I told you that I'm going to get you back and answer your queries if there is any in the comment section. Till then, take the best care of yourself. Bye-bye.